Hi, my name's John Cordy, and one day I'm planning on sort of converting our attic space into maybe like a kind of studio or a nice place to hang out. At the moment though, our attic space, the roof is quite close to the floor there, so it would be about, you know, 1.5 feet as a room, which isn't ideal. So I guess you could say I've got a lofty ambition. I also wanted to tell you that I was visiting South Africa, and I was in Johannesburg, Joho I think, it's referred to by the locals, and I didn't know what the time was, so I approached this, I guess she must have been like 11 or 12-year-old girl, and I said, "What's the time?" And she said, "6 pist." And I said, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." And she said, "6 pist." Again, I said, "Sorry, you're going to have to shout it." She said, "6 pist." And now I'm on a list, obviously. Right, so today's video, sorry, I did plan that one, is about sort of pedals that I've got but that I've never put on a board. So I did a video a week or so ago called "The Problem with Pedalboards," and that was talking roughly about what happens when you start to go down the pedalboard rabbit hole. And generally, I think probably most of you might have experienced this. If you're into pedalboards, you start off with this idea of what the pedalboard might be, and it gradually grows and grows, and you end up with kind of spare pedalboards, spare pedals, big pedalboards, little pedalboards. Basically the problem just grows. So here's kind of 5 of my favourite pedals that have never been on a board, and they're all going into my Mesa Boogie Mark III and Torpedo Captor X is capturing that, going into the clean channel. The first one is the Rex Mudhoney II. Now I've had the Rex Mudhoney, the first version, I had that on a board for a bit. Now one of the reasons that this isn't on a board at the moment is because I've only just got it, and the other reason is it's not necessarily as friendly to other amps as some of my other pedals. So you might know that I use the Dude and the HRM a lot for my kind of lead and rhythm tones. What's good about those pedals is that the treble knob basically works as like a high cut, similar to a Timmy or something like that, where if you're going into a particularly bright amp, you can use that high cut to kind of tame it a bit. So like the Electrodyne's quite bright, so I can just, you know, notch that high cut back a little bit and we're good to go. This doesn't have that feature, but it does have 2 channels and a boost on each channel, and it can, so it's quite versatile. 2 channels. First channel I'm running in normal mode, the second channel I'm running in boost mode for a bit more gain, and it can kind of do like distortion, fuzzy stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to sound too raspy. It can pair up really nicely with some stuff, and it cleans up nicely with the volume knob. So that's number 1 on the list. Here's some playing. 2 on the list is the Free the Tone MS2V, the Matt Schofield Overdrive. I've featured the SOV2, the hand wired model, whatever that means and whatever difference that makes. But this one I also really like. I guess if you were looking for something that could do kind of either lower gain lead tones, or it can actually get pretty gnarly as you turn the gain up, this to me is kind of a Dumble-ish pedal. They don't market it as such, but really nice kind of lead tones. I need to experiment with this one a bit more. There might not be any real reason to have both the SOV2 and the SOV, but these are getting a little bit rare now, so I thought, well, I'd like to have both. But yeah, I need to experiment with this more. This was one of the kind of favourite tones that I got in this particular experiment. And yeah, I really like it. It's got quite a lot of headroom. One of the things you notice about it, I think it's got an 18 volt internal voltage, whatever that means. But basically, people have said that the Providence Stampede is the same thing. If you put them next to each other, they don't really respond the same. So yeah, really like this pedal, and here's some play with it. Now the Prince of Tone I've featured on this channel. I mostly bought this to compare to the HX Stomp Drive, which they call it the Heir Apparent on that. I think it's one half of a King of Tone, which now kind of have quite a good reputation and are a little bit difficult to get hold of. I think even the Prince of Tone is becoming so now. But this, you know, some people use like a tube screamer or a clon for like a slight gain boost, but mostly a volume boost. This works really nicely for that in boost mode. The OD and the distortion modes I don't use as much, but the boost with the drive kind of chucked most of the way up and the volume up does work really nicely with some amps and with some stuff. Not necessarily a hugely versatile pedal, but one I need to experiment with more again. And likewise, I think this is probably one of those mid-gain pedals that I could use for like a low-gain solo boost, like I've got a tube screamer for, or like I've got the SOV for. It's just something that's not on my board at the moment, never been on the board, but maybe one day will. Certainly they've got quite a bit of heritage about them. I guess that's only going to increase, so nice to have at least. But yeah, blues breaker style pedal. Here's the Ibanez TS10, which I've recently just got back off of Jake. Now, this is kind of one of my favourite tube screamers, and plugging it into the Mark III kind of was obvious why. The reason I don't have this on a board is that they're becoming sort of increasingly rare, especially in good condition. So this one's in fairly nice condition. For that reason, it's probably never going to leave the house particularly. The switches on these aren't great either, so you probably want to put them in a switching device if you are going to invest in one. So if I was going to use it live, I might do it if I was using a switching device, but otherwise I'd just take a more bog standard tube screamer than this, because I don't want this to break. Great sounding tube screamer, and you probably know that already. to stick in this video is the Weelden Royal Overdrive. This I've had for a while. I've had 2 of them, I think, but you can kind of see why this might not end up on a board. It's pretty big. It also takes 12 or 18 volts to power it, or if you're on 9 volts you need quite a lot of ampage, like 650 I think. So it's not that easy to power, and it's quite bulky and quite heavy. I do want to experiment with this a bit more. I did show you on the board that I've got like a audition spot where I can put pedals, and this fits in that happily, and I can now power it with a Strymon O-Hi. So something I want to experiment with a bit more. You've got on and off, and also a mid boost, switchable mid boost and gain boost. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a hugely versatile pedal, but it's doing that kind of Dumble ODS lead channel thing. So if you like that, then potentially this might be a really good one. But I can't say that it's knocked the Dude off of my board, because I really like the J-Rocket Dude. But I want to keep this around just because I think it's quite a cool piece of equipment anyway. And yeah, quite a well engineered pedal, and it's nice to have around. But yeah, it's not been on a board as yet, but I might have just taken the ethos off of my board for a while, and I might chuck this down there for a bit and see what it sounds like. Obviously there's no gigs anyway, so it doesn't particularly matter. Those are 5 of my pedals that as yet haven't really ever been on my pedal board, but I like them anyway, and I guess you might have some of your own. It'd be interesting to, you know, leave in the comments your kind of favourite pedals that have never been on a pedal board. I think it's kind of a fun thing to talk about perhaps, and maybe there's reasons why you wouldn't put them on there, like maybe you've got like an original clon that you wouldn't want to gig with for obvious reasons. Or maybe, you know, you've got pedals that are too bulky to go on your pedal board, or difficult to power, or maybe you've just got it sitting on a shelf. I guess another idea might be to put together like an alternative pedal board, you know, like, so you've got your main choices. I might try and do like a video of like my anti-pedal board, you know, where I just pick completely different stuff. Maybe that'd be interesting, I don't know. Let me know if this kind of video is interesting to you at all. You could like and subscribe as a way to help out and let me know that this is worth doing. But yeah, thank you for watching and spending time watching the channel. As I say, leave a comment and let me know what you've got sitting on a shelf somewhere that you thought would go on a board, or one day might go on a board, but for the moment is kind of sitting in the wings waiting to jump on the field. Sub bench, I'm trying to sport. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. Just in case you're watching, this is a Seth Backus t-shirt, and we're giving 2 of these away because Jason bought 2, or donated the money to buy 2 for the channel, and we're going to give 2 of these away. If you follow Seth Backus Guitars on Instagram and tag him in a video if you're playing, we're going to pick our favourite ones. If you just post a video of your playing and use the hashtag Seth Backus, we're going to check through those, myself, Jason and Seth, and pick our favourites and give away 2 t-shirts. That's the plan. Anyway, thank you for watching. Cheers.